takes much more to break the skin. Looks like we finally made it. This time we finally made it. We've had our backs against the wall, and all you said we'd proven wrong. Looks like we finally made it. This time we finally made it.
What's going on, guys? What is going on? Welcome back. Happy Tuesday, July 6th. Let's see what we can do here with ES. I'll talk about my trades this morning. Up 500, 504.10 across 3 TopstepX combines. Been on a roll, man. Honestly, through last week, it's been very green, which is nice. You know, normal consecutive wins, normal consecutive losses. It's all part of the non-linear way that trading pays. That's kind of the way that things work. Bookmap definitely laid it up for me this morning on the long. I'll talk about that. Show you what I saw. Took a short that worked out nicely, and missed a short that I was really eyeballing back down into the range. Just didn't have the conviction. Didn't have anything showing on Bookmap. You know, it wasn't the real nice breakout setup that I liked. The risk structure just wasn't there, but it would have played out very nicely. But we'll talk about that in just a minute. I was getting ready for to look for a trade here, but I don't know. We got some pretty big choppy price action right now, so I'm just gonna give this a minute. Kind of let it decide what it wants to do. To me, this looks like a choppy, rangy day. Not the easiest stuff to trade, but this morning worked out very nicely. That was pretty clean for me. So yeah, okay. So we had some levels on Bookmap. They're coming on and off. I will talk about what I was looking at on the candlestick chart first. Talk about my trades, show you on Bookmap, and then we will see. Yeah, again, right now with this type of action, I don't have the conviction to take a sell because I don't think we're just going to blast lower. I'm not super bearish. You know, we certainly can just start to break down past yesterday's volume point and control and just continue down towards pre-market low. That's, completely reasonable. If we just zoom out and look at this, area of consolidation that we traded in, that's fine. It can come down here. I'm not convinced yet. Buyers are back in, bringing the thing higher, all the way back up to pre-market high. This is definitely, an area to pay attention to. You could see, why is my pre-market high up here again? Oh, there we go. It's off this candle right here. I was looking over here and I thought, is my pre-market high line too high? No, it's off this candle right here. Actually the 929 it was pushing up. So you could see here, tested as support a handful of times. You can see how these levels come into play, right? And then even right now, we're on the third 1 minute candle that's reacting right at that pre-market high. These aren't, magical levels. I didn't make these levels up. This is common stuff. There's, a dozen or 2 dozen or an infinite number of other levels that you could use. Pick stuff that you like, that you find. Yeah, look at that. Look at the reaction right back down to VWAP. This is why I like these tools on my chart. Very, very helpful. So while I wait for ES to decide if it's going to do anything or we're just going to have this really big kind of choppiness here, I'll go through some trades. So I took a long here this morning, pretty early on, right here. It was 599.25 or 599.75. Can't remember exactly, but it was really early on, right over here. We had pushed up. I saw a level sitting on Bookmap right at 705, 5705. It sat there since before pre-market. I saw us pushing up towards it, and I liked us to go tag that. I'm going to have to confirm this one. You guys will get the recap later on. Join the Discord, free Discord. Hop in there. I post all of my recaps for my trading on my own. You get, the ability to trade live with me here, ask me questions, see everything. But I'll post this as a recap, kind of the YouTube short and the Instagram reel. I think I got long right here. Took a little bit of drawdown, and then almost made it on the way up here. Didn't close, saw it come back down, and then continue up. Again, I'm going to have to go back through that trade management. But I got the close right at 0475. That was super nice. Worked out well. Again, saw a level on Bookmap, which I will show you guys now, that I was targeting. We started to break above. Everything lines up before Bookmap, right? Like, let's talk about it without Bookmap. We got pre-market. Consolidation overnight, sell-off down, and then right back up, right at this volume point of control. Got above VWAP, started to push up. We were looking pretty bullish, like we wanted to break up, right? We were breaking right above into the first minute of the open. Even if we're not going to run to the upside, which we didn't today, I thought it was pretty reasonable that we would push up a little bit further. Bookmap was the added confirmation and the area that I was targeting there, outside of just using a round number, which a lot of people go for, because I could see the orders stacked up a significant amount right there. I've watched it over the past sessions, and a lot of times if it's close, there's nothing below. Those orders are like magnets, man. The market wants to go and grab that liquidity, wants to go fill those orders. So let's see what Bookmap is looking like. Let me make sure you guys can see this. And again, if you guys got questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. I will be happy to answer for you when I get a moment after I'm going through this stuff. So we look at, boom, check this out. Here's 930, right? Here's the level that I'm looking at. It was actually just before. So here's the level I'm looking at. Right at the open, right? You can see orders are on the books since 9 o'clock. They get heavier, right? Designated by the yellow, getting brighter and brighter. And as we pushed up towards it, they stayed on the book the entire time. And then here we go, the push up towards, and then you could see by the volume bubble, it was real liquidity on the book, not spoofed orders. You could see the fill, you could see the volume right there coming up to it, trading through it. You could see price right here, traded all the way up to that like 57.05 level. What was it? What did it actually trade? The high. Yep, 0575. Again, and hit that level. Simple as that, man. That's where my target was. I figured, hey, we're going to have a high likelihood of hitting that. Are we going to continue through? Are we going to react right there? Out for debate. I'm going to watch this stuff continue to. Over the last couple weeks, I've been watching a lot of these get filled. small reaction, and then, they continue through. If buyers are going to maintain control and continue up, that happens. That was the move, man. That was the Bookmap play right there. Simple. Look at the stacked orders at that level. We're pushing up, right? Like I talked about, market structure, price action, my levels, everything's aligning to tell me, hey, I want to look for a long. Bookmap comes in with the added conviction and reason to take the trade and reason to look for a target at that area, and played out very nicely. Just like anything else. Is it going to play out all of the time? No. Is it going to play out 90% of the time? Probably not. But in conjunction with the other tools that I use, the process, my approach with risk management, these can be helpful. They can be helpful for structuring your trades, for deciding where to take profit, where to place a stop loss, how you're going to structure your risk. Can just make you more aware. I've really liked using order flow in my trading. It again, I don't like to get ahead of myself. I like to give stuff enough time. I haven't had an enormous amount of time with order flow. But initially, I could talk about it. It's been a massive help. The way that I interpret this stuff is easy. Again, preference, personal to me. The horizontal level thing, the colors can seem daunting and scary, can seem crazy. But to me, the way that I could glance at this and start to interpret, hey, we got orders stacking up at this level. I could look at the order book as well. Could look at volume and kind of just see that there and have it easily be interpreted and applied to my trading decision. I've loved it, man. And watching how price reacts at these levels, either being drawn to them or reacting right off of them, or a lot of volume being traded and then a strong push through, I'm hard pressed to say that I'm gonna want to go away from using this stuff. It's a massive piece of information that I did not have before, that I don't feel is like information overload that I can utilize in my trading. So it's been sweet, man. I'll continue talking about it. I'll tell you as I'm using it today. I'll show you guys what we're looking at. If you need me to explain anything on here, I'll do my best to. Again, I'm not the expert yet. I keep it 100 with you guys, as the kids say. I'm still early on into order flow and Bookmap, how I'm using it, how I'm able to apply it to my trading. But right now, I'm looking for levels of liquidity that come on and off the market, that stack up above or below price, and if it lines up with my trading idea based on market structure and price action, which is my bread and butter, I'm able to utilize that. So it also helps with trade management immensely. If I'm in a trade, I start to see things shift on order flow. All of a sudden, we got a ton of orders coming on the book. Before my stop loss price is starting to get drawn down, I might say, hey, time to cut this thing. Or vice versa. We see orders, which happened on the short a little bit. We start to see orders stack up at a level before my target. I might think, hey, you know what? I'm better just take my profit. I'm green. Maybe move stop loss to break even, a number of different things, but it can help with that type of stuff. Again, nothing's 100% in trading. It's, in my opinion, it's an art as much as it's a science. Use the tools that you find helpful, that you can utilize quickly and effectively, that, through back testing and through forward testing, provide some kind of measurable edge in the market, allow you to make some money. And go for that and experiment through. You might say, hey man, Bookmap sucks for me. I can't read this for the life of me. The colors drive me crazy. I constantly see orders come on and off the book. I can't make sense of this. That's totally cool, man. There's plenty of solid, profitable traders that are not using Bookmap, or not using order flow for that matter. So, it's all about, what works for you. But that was an example today of it working out again. Pretty solid. Really, really awesome. Wow, we got price pushing way back up here. We might run for the hills. Again, short was on the way back down. Saw the reaction off of pre-market high, the failure to come back up and break, and I believe I was a short here in between these two levels. Saw some orders on Bookmap when I closed out right down here. The trade that I feel like I missed today was a short down here. Now, I like to target the VWAP if I'm going to trade back to the VWAP if we're above it. I don't really want to be targeting way below the VWAP unless we go and break. I was looking short right down here. I saw us come down, fail to go higher here, start to mess around, chop on the 1 minute, and I had my finger on the sell button, was looking at two contracts. It'd be quite a bit of risk for me to have to put a stop way above here. I'm looking at 7 points to 7.5 points. that's a little bit heavy for me. And from a target perspective, I didn't have anything on bookmap, didn't have another level until volume point of control. The first target's right here, my VWAP. So I could have planned to do, take one off, stop loss to break even. But even that, when I see this level here, I think it's even if it's going to continue down, I think it's likely to pull a move where it comes back down, wicks back up, and then continues. So I sat that one out. It would have played out really nicely, obviously. Would have just continued down. Had I managed it with what I was just talking about, maybe taking profit right here, stop loss to break even, if this was my entry right near the pre-market high, and then, a target lower, or as we started to chop around, that would have played out pretty nicely. Again, risk structure just didn't line up for it. Had the direction right, had the trade idea right, thesis, everything played out perfectly. I wouldn't have a good way to structure risk. I don't mind. Again, even more recently, like I've talked about, I'm not so dead set on risk to reward and having to really think of my initial trade, my trades based on my initial risk to reward. The way that I manage trades is very dynamic. I change things as I go. I'm moving with the market, and overall, based on your data, you want to take a look at the size of your winners versus the size of your losers and your win rate. But I'm not so dead set on a fixed risk to reward of 3-to-1 or anything like that, because I don't leave my trades. I don't set it and forget it. I manage them. But for this trade, for example, that doesn't do it for me. If this has to be my stop loss up here, and this is where I'm initially looking to take a target based on the way that I trade, that's not enough for me. Even doing like a take off one and move stop loss down, that's still not really enough for me. This would have probably been the next target somewhere down here, and I likely would have held back to maybe closing around a second test of VWAP. So it would have worked today, but the risk structure just really wasn't right for me. On the long trade, stop loss, I believe, starting right below here, and ability to move it up quickly. I think I moved it up once we got up here. Again, you'll see the recap on that one. That worked out nice, being able to target that level. Cheap short, easy. Stop loss, as we're coming down, can go right above the highs. If it comes back up, trade idea is wrong. Quick move down towards pre-market high. That's another easy one. So, but I watched this one play out. The whole time I'm thinking, damn, you kind of start cursing yourself. You had it right. But you got to remember your risk structure. You don't know what trades are going to play out and what are not going to play out, right? Random distribution between wins and losses for any given set of variables that define an edge. Mark Douglas, go read Trading in the Zone if you haven't read that. But that's what you have to understand. I don't know which trade is going to be a winner or loser. When I come on live here with you guys, of course we want to take winning trades. We're on a win streak. We want to see all green days. There's no guarantee, man. I can't tell which one is going to be a winner or a loser. I can't tell what the market's going to do. I can put my trades on based on my approach, based on the way that I structure risk, the tools that I have that I find give me an advantage, right? Allow me to make money over the long run. But that's what it is. It's over the long run, over 50, 100 trades. How does this play out? How does that win rate and risk to reward, give you a nice positive expectancy? That's the deal. So when I pick and choose my trades and what trades I want to put risk on, they got to make sense. I know if I'm putting that one on, I'm risking a big loss, giving back, everything and then some for a really, really small profit. Just not there for me. Again, the more that I trade the U.S. indices on the small time frames, the less I find the shift in the mindset and training that I've had to do for myself of holding my winners longer and cutting my losers really aggressively short. I have to shift that a little bit to see profit, take profit. Don't let so many come back to completely break even or to a full loss in the pursuit of these big home runs. Small base hits. Have it make sense from a risk to reward perspective, but what I've found in my data really is my win rate has gone up considerably and my risk to reward has gone down considerably. I'm talking about coming from swing trading on the Forex side where, scaling in, targeting much larger risk to rewards, especially compared to an initial risk to reward. Which is fine. It's just about finding what makes sense to you, what works for your approach, what works for the market conditions that you're trading. For me, holding for these home runs is going to be bordering on the greedy side. You're making money. You're able to get, $200, $300, $400 out of these trades, $500 between two today. When it makes sense to close like it did on the second one, where if I look at the initial risk to reward, it was negative, based on where I closed, not initial. But it told, my reading of the market told me to close. And what happened, if you go back and watch, it reversed all the way, to near the stop loss. So, it's just about, I think, having the mental flexibility, having a good trading plan, a good risk management plan, understanding how you're going to trade and sticking to that. But for me, having that a little bit more mental flexibility. I understand what it means to I understand the relationship between risk to reward and win rate, right? I know what that means. I've played with the equity simulator more times than I can count. I've gone through my data. But I and I think a lot of other traders can understand a shift that can be made. If your win rate's going to increase a little bit and your risk to reward is going to decrease a little bit, that's okay. Same thing, vice versa. Maybe guys are way too aggressive taking profits. You got this really high win rate, but when you take a loss, it's massive and it wipes out a ton of profit. Maybe you got to hold those trades for a little bit larger wins. Make that risk to reward a little more positive. What's that going to mean for your win rate? You're probably going to lose more trades on the way to those larger winners. But you've got to find that happy medium, right? There's going to be a good balance. You're never going to get it perfect. Every trade's going to play out differently. Some days the market's going to rip, and if you held it for a 10-to-1, it would have worked out great. Other days, taking your small profits, very small profits, would work out better. There's going to be a balance in there. And it's all about fine-tuning that balance and maybe continuing to, adjust. Not on every trade, not on every day, but as you collect data for weeks, and months at a time, going back through and looking and reviewing your trades and saying, hey, you know what? If I held all these trades for another 3 points, they all would have hit except for one, and I would have had that much more money, in my account. Or look at how many of these got close to my target. I didn't close them. I didn't take partials. I didn't move stop loss to break even, or one of the combination. They came back down to stop me out. They came back down to, to break even. I would have done better taking profit. Trade management, I talk about it a lot. I get asked about it a lot. It's one of the most difficult pieces, I think, from the actual technical analysis, the execution side of things, outside of psychology and mindset. So I've been talking about it more. But you've really got to review your trades. You have to journal. You have to understand what's going on if you're ever going to have a feedback loop that's going to give you the information to be able to improve. So that's my rant on that, guys. As we're watching the market push higher, this looks like it wants to break. We're all the way back up, testing this again. We reacted here. Not a major level on Bookmap that I'm looking at. A little bit at 710. I can see that stacking up. I'll show you guys in a moment. But I don't have a breakout trade. I don't have a ton of conviction in this move. Oh, not a short. Not TopStep TV. You could look for something like this. I'm going to leave this on the board. This would be a Bookmap style trade. Stop loss just below here. I don't have the conviction in this. I think there's potential for this to be very rangy. I think we could wick up, fake out, trap buyers again, and then just come back down. If I was targeting something, it would be, it wouldn't even be that high, honestly. I've been going a couple ticks below the level because I find that's much more likely to be hit, even if orders start to come off the book, and that doesn't give me a great initial risk to reward. I see some stuff at 715 as well. If we're going to run, maybe I'll wait for a break and retest. I'll wait for this move to play out and then continue. But I don't love this just yet. But that's all I'd be looking at. I wouldn't be looking short just yet back into the range. But this is tough right now, right? Like you came up, tested it. Maybe you wanted to take the cheap short. You saw, reactions start to happen. You say, okay, I'm targeting VWAP. I think we're coming back down in. Maybe you're getting stopped out had you had a stop loss just above here. So this gets tricky. This gets tricky to trade. Again, this type of structure, not super easy. Not super easy. I do like to continue watching the market, actively trading up until about 12 o'clock. Just waiting for setups. Let me get rid of, sorry guys, Discord going crazy. Yeah, TopstepX working fine for me. I'm on it right now. That's what guys are talking about. So we'll see. Let's look at Bookmap together. Again, you guys got questions, feel free. Ask them in the chat. Let's look at Bookmap. Let's see what we got. Again, this is historical price and, liquidity. This is your live, past this line, the stuff that's moving rapidly. This is your, your live market here. This is your order book. Two different types of volume here. Chart range volume profile, session range volume profile. As I scroll in and out and zoom in and out, obviously the heat map colors change. It's displayed on this scale. Just the real quick basics of what we're looking at here. This is showing liquidity in the market. This is showing, this is your DOM. This is your order book. This is the current resting orders at each price level, above and below, right? Sells and buys, active. They move continuously. They come on and off, the quantities at price levels, and it's displayed in a heat map. Right here, you've got this, what I've heard a lot of people refer to as algorithmic, algos. That liquidity kind of just track your price, which is on this displayed as a best bid, best ask, along with volume bubbles. What I'm looking for is large amounts of orders stacking up at specific price levels, above and below price, that I can use as a target. Maybe it's going to be used as an area that will find a reaction or a push through. But this is how I identify liquidity in the market. We don't have to guess if it's above or below a high or a low or at a certain level. You can see it on the market. I continually have had a lot of those discussions lately on social media, making a lot of people angry talking about order flow. So this is what I'm looking at. Again, not a lot, not like earlier, right? We saw that really big peak of orders, but we've got some stacking up right here at this 7. Let's call it like 7, 9 3/4 is really where I would be having a target. But see, here we go, kind of coming off a little bit. Not massive, but definitely the next area that I would look at. You got a little bit more. If I zoom out, I might be able to have it be a little more drastic. Yeah, you got a little bit more up here around that 715, 57.15. So we'll see. Not a whole lot below. You can see there are orders on the book all the way down to like the 56.90s, but not anything that's really jumping out at me that says, hey man, we got a whole bunch stacked up here. It looks like there were some that came on around this 5700, 5701. You see that sitting there. Looks like we're actually going to come down and trade into that right now. We can see what happens when we get there. And this is going to be, here, I'll move it, 5701. Yep, it's going to be just below these lows. We're trading down into it. A lot of volume being traded right there. You should be able to see it even on the traditional volume on a candlestick chart. I'll show you guys back again what it looks like. We're reacting off that level right there. Take a look. Price came down into it. Boom. A lot of volume traded. You can see it down on the vertical volume as well. And then reaction popped right off there. So we'll see. This looks like it might want to continue down through though. And 710 lightening up, right? Like orders coming off a little bit. This was a little bit more on at this point, not as much right here. So nothing super strong on Bookmap, not a super strong, obvious level. That's how I've been using this in my elementary way of utilizing order flow to start getting comfortable with it. Is like earlier today, we got a bright yellow level. We're headed up towards it. Hey, I think we could probably get there. Let me see what happens when we get there. So that is our Bookmap. Yeah, I don't really have a trade here, guys. I'm not even really waiting for anything specific. I don't have a clear direction of where I believe we have potential to move today. Right now, watching this just BS reaction here, if we were going to break, we could have broken here. We could have pulled back down and then continued. We failed again. Now I think we're probably more likely just to trail back down into the range. Just my, my gut feeling, my intuition, using experience. Can we blast off from here? Sure, but I think we're probably we're more. I think we're more likely, just based on my interpretation of price action and market structure, come back down and test pre-market high, maybe VWAP. If nothing else, it's choppy, it's slow moving, and it's not going to make for a really, really clean setup. I definitely didn't have a trade down here. This slice through the VWAP, again, after some bullish price action, this could have been a buy. Stop loss all the way down here, targeting the highs. That would have played out pretty nicely. That does line up with, with the way that I like to trade. Why wasn't I really paying it? Oh, I was right when I was hopping on live. That makes sense. Might have been a little bit antsy to jump into a buy over here had I not been getting set up on live. But yeah, and again, so we come back down. I don't have conviction that we're just going to bounce, right? And if we do come back down, I don't have conviction that we're just going to blast through all this. To me, this is kind of setting up as a rangy. This is setting up as a rangy consolidating move until we get above this area here with some force, with some momentum, or we get down below. This is rangy, and you could trade the top of the range to the bottom of the range, maybe from the middle to one of the extremes. Not really my style. I end up getting chopped up and take losses more than wins when I do that. I like direction, and I can get that usually pretty early, and a lot of times in the afternoon. Like we had some solid trades last week. But if I just have so much back and forth, I don't have a clear direction to say, hey, I think this is going higher. I think this is going lower from this point. So for that reason, I'm sitting waiting. $1,500, $500 across 3 combines. I'm good with that for the morning. So we'll see. We shall see. Kyle says, so fun. Andre Thomas says, caught some shorts on MNQ, passed another 50K. Nice, man, while copying the XFA. Feels kind of good. Awesome, man. Very nice to hear. Passing them, it's always a good feeling, no matter where you are in your journey, for sure. Making money on an XFA, even better. Very nice. I got 4 XFAs, if you guys don't know. I'm just stacking up combines while I'm just honing in my approach, especially using Bookmap. Starting to use order flow, even wanted to give myself even more time in combines to mess around with those, and continue to pass more of them. Game plan is to start trading those. I just got an email yesterday that said they were inactive for too long. I've taken small trades on them just to keep them active. You have to trade with TopStep if you get into an XFA once every 30 days. I sent a support email, and I think it was like, it's fine. But I don't want to. I definitely don't want to not trade them and lose them. That's not at all my game plan. So I may venture into doing that for the morning session. Just trading the XFA, probably a little bit smaller size. Start to try to grab some of those $200 winning days, and trade towards some payouts. But I snagged quite a few of these cheap 50K combines. I like to test a lot. I like to experiment with a lot of different things, and they are a good platform to do that for me. Again, everybody's financial situation is different. $20 or $30 may mean a lot more to somebody else than it means to me. So, all about your own plan. But here we are, back down to pre-market high. Right? Reading of price action was right on that one. Let's see. Let's see if we hit that VWAP line, like the trade I was setting up earlier, the potential trading idea. Or maybe we react and we come higher right from here. Important level that I like to pay attention to, for sure. So yeah, man, nice. Morning, gents. Got yesterday's loss back today. Took a short to the data low, NQ. Oh, gotcha. Nice, man. Morning, good morning. What's up, guys? What is up? Nice reaction off of pre-market high. Book map still not showing anything. Nothing crazy. Not a whole lot of help this afternoon, or still this morning, sorry. Yeah, this is choppy, guys. This is a little choppy for me. I still think the move back down into the range is more likely. That's what I'm going to go with just for pure speculation purposes. If we blast off from here, maybe we start to look for some longs. We're going to get a continuation to the upside, but I'm not super duper convinced by that. We are coming up to test it again for the third time in the last last half hour here. So we are testing it again. We put we cracked a low, and now we're all the way back up. We got some volume behind this one actually. This looks like it might push a little bit higher. Again, not sold on it either way. Don't have a great way to structure risk. We didn't get a nice continuation and break and retest. It gives me, the entry that I look for. Nothing really here. A stop loss anywhere in between before this low doesn't make sense to me. I'd be looking at, 9-10 points for a stop loss. I don't know that I would be targeting anything way up here. Don't have a clean level basing off of yesterday until we're going to go towards prior day high, which we might. Yeah, I'm looking at this top. Here comes the break up. Let's see, do we get follow through to the upside here? Caught the sell-off this morning. Top step was almost blown, but recovered from that sell-off. Had to cut it to 1,500. Yeah, nice, man. Making more than the daily limit is a good thing. It's a good problem to have. Yeah, I had Top Step TV running in the background. I was listening to Dakota scale into a short, add to a short position, and hold it through a little bit of drawdown, and end up with a $40,000 day. That Top Step Live is fun to watch, man, for sure. I leave it on mainly to try to catch fire drills and bell to bell and be able to share it with the community, but I like everybody that's on there. I think the daily live stream that they put out is awesome. I think it's really, really cool. Gonna make a run for it on this one. Look at that. Got to break up. Got a little bit of volume behind it. Again, a little bit of orders at 15, all the way up here, but more that just came on the book right around 702, 702 and a half, right down here. Again, I don't have a trade on this one just yet, guys. Now after this, trying it again, this looks like a long play. I don't have a great way to structure risk. Again, I'm kind of feeling now that I'm watching this happen that I'd like to be long. This wick all the way down to pre-market high was just not it for me. I'm not looking for a buy in this area at all as we're coming back down into the range after failing to go higher. above these highs that we tested a bunch of times. No shot that I'm taking the long right here. Now that we're back up and breaking above, like we said, outside of this area of consolidation that we've seen, once we get above or below, I can start looking for something. Long looks like it's not blasting off. Long looks like the play. I'm watching yes, 702 and a quarter come on and off the book with some orders right down into the middle of this area. If we pull back, I'd like to see what happens here. If we continue higher, maybe that gives me some level to trade off of. Because again, right now, what does the buy look like? Yuck, right? Like you got to be holding for, the big move, and that's just not it. Now I got some more coming on at 7:15. Got some more on the book. I think now it's likely to go up there and tag that. Yep. Little bit better structure here. We would have been all right. Taking some kind of breakout play. But I'm going to see how bookmap plays out. Let's see if it does want to go and tag that 715 or if it wants to pull back to that 702. That's where we got orders on the book showing up. Not a massive amount, but obviously you can see outside of this, again, what we call kind of that algorithmic stuff that tracks price. Here's what we got coming back on the book at 715. And then here's a little bit more lighten up at that 702 and a quarter. Not a whole lot, though. I started to light up down here and looks like it's starting to come off. This is the area that I'll be looking at next. But no trade. Not a setup for me. But while we're watching the market, if you guys got questions, feel free. Ask them in the chat. Happy to have you guys here. Thanks for hopping on. If you're not in the free Discord, hop in the free Discord, man. Live trading like this every day. Market analysis. I give you my chart today. Explained all my levels. Tools that I use. Everything that's on my chart. Let you know what I'm looking at coming into the open. Well, let's see. That orders are still on the book for sure at 715. See what happens there. But yeah, free Discord. Analysis, market insights, news every day. Answer questions, anything you guys have. Trading related, I do my best to help you out with for free. Be happy to have you in there. Yep, just watching bookmap. Ooh, they're actually coming off a little bit. They're coming off. Look at that. Interesting. As price moved up to it, they started to come off the book. Very interesting. But yeah, that breakout play would have been okay. Again, for me, um, from a risk based initial stop, that's kind of wide for me. Picking up 7 points, 6.5 points, something like that, even if it's coming down, would have been very nice. A little bit more of a break and retest, even something like this, a push up, and then another break would have given me something to trade off of. Just not the structure that I want to utilize. But if you guys are on here, thanks again. Hit the like button, subscribe if you want to. If not, do whatever you want. Free is free. That's what I always say about this stuff. But helps me out. Helps me try to figure out social media algorithms, which I can't for the life of me figure out. I think I'm a better trader than I am a social media figuring out how to post stuff that gets a whole lot of views. Hack the algorithm. Quick disclaimer while we're hanging out watching this, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Do your own research. Trading's risky. Most traders lose money. You're probably going to lose all or more of the money if you decide to trade. Everything here is for entertainment purposes only. Read the full disclaimer in the description of this video and on my site, realdealfutures.com. Yeah, orders coming on and off the book at 715. Didn't go up and tag that. There's an example of it not coming all the way up. As it got close, they looked like they started to get pulled. I can show you what I'm talking about. Let's look at Bookmap. Here was the level we were watching, right? Started to get even brighter, which means more and more orders were getting stacked up on the book at that level, right? All the way up to like the orange where there's a lot. And then as it got closer, looked like they started to get pulled. Got lightened up a little bit. Yeah, if I scroll out, you can see it a little bit better. Lightened up a little bit. And price immediately start to pull off of that. And now, if we look at it, they kind of came back on, stayed, and now have since lightened up again as we're pulling off. So maybe that's an example of like spoofing, orders that are on the book, they get pulled as price comes into it. That is a real piece of utilizing order flow, right? Orders can come on and off the book. Like right now, I could place, a limit order or a buy or sell order, and take it off at any time, right? So the orders that are going to stay there and actually get filled, that's what we're looking for. Again, this level has sat there that I've talked about, not massive, but definitely something that's there, right? We could see it on the heat map. 702 and a quarter. We'll see what happens if price comes all the way back down to that level. We are kind of doing a little break and retest action here, right? If I was going to mark this, probably what I would be looking at if I was using a nice fancy rectangle right down into these highs. I'm looking at what happens if we come down here. And this might give me something. If we make it down to 702 and a half, 702 and a quarter, right at this level, right here, based on Bookmap, kind of deep back into this zone by a little bit. Maybe it's a fancy number that someone else likes to use, Fibonacci or some other random number you want to use. Something along these lines I'd be looking at would give me a way to structure risk, a spot to place a stop loss that would invalidate my trading idea, would give me some structure to maybe take profit at as we came up to this, and to hold if I wanted to towards prior day high. But it would definitely give me some upside potential. It would give me a way to structure risk. Do we get this pullback without taking right back off? That's out for debate. Do we pull back and then just continue down? Also out for debate. But that's what I'm watching for right now. Something around this level. Yep. Just going to use Bookmap on this one. 702.5. That's probably what I would look at. It's struggling to come lower right now. But we'll have to see. I won't be jumping right in. That's not my game plan. We come off this pretty hard. I'm going to wait to see. I don't want to try to catch the falling knife. I'd rather get a little bit worse of an entry on the way back up, showing me we got some indication that we're reacting and we're going to move higher, and run a little bit tighter stop loss. If I was trying to buy on the way down, I'd really want to give it a lot of room. But even having this level below it, I don't love, because I think this is an easy retest. We come back down and test pre-market high that we've used as support a bunch of times, tested as resistance a couple times. I think that's a pretty clean level there. Did not use. There's your low of day anchored VWAP. Low of the session, I should say. Throw one on New York session. Yep. I like anchored VWAPs. I like opening range. There's just some days where I am not throwing it on the chart. Talked about that in my analysis today. Yeah, so again, if you're hanging out with me, here's kind of what I'm looking at. Boom. Something like that for a trade. You could take the break and retest right off the highs if you wanted to try it, if you liked the long, if you thought that this was going to continue. I like this area down here. I think there's potential to come here, and I'd like to buy on the way back up if any of this happens. Again, we could continue right up from here. This is a fine pullback before continuation. We can continue back down, back into the range. But since we got this looks pretty bullish. So we shall see. Yeah, I still want to run a pretty wide stop. Probably wouldn't have to do 10 points like I was talking about earlier from all the way up here. And I'd be able to get it a whole lot lower even if I got a couple points up. Yeah, 7-8 points would be pretty sweet. Be able to get that just to the high, as far as being on the way back up, and then considerably more if you held towards prior day high. So let's see. Stay patient with it. We don't get a setup, no problem, man. Take our profit for the day. And call it a day. I like to get trades on here with the live sessions with you guys, but I don't want to take losing trades just for the sake of taking trades. That's not fun. That's not good for anybody. So I need something. I need something to set up for me. And again, maybe this set up for a whole lot of other guys. I'm sure people took the long. To me, again, not convincing after it failed so many times. Third time around, it looked a whole lot more convincing. Again, if I had better structure, I probably would have been taken along. This just didn't do it for me. But we'll watch order book. Yeah, even more orders on the book right down at that level. A little bit more came on. that. Yeah, let's see. Let's see if we come off this a little bit lower. Again, if you guys got trading questions, feel free. Ask them in the chat. Appreciate you being on here. Waiting for the market to give me something to trade off of, man. Steven, what's up, brother? It depends. I've been going a little bit earlier. For a long time, I was doing 1 p.m. I was doing power hour. And all through last week and this week, I've been doing a 10:30 a.m. start. I trade NYSE Open at 9:30 by myself and one-on-one guys that I work with. Outside of that, I pick a time for the lives. So it's been 10:30, but if you hop in the Discord, I'll keep you updated. I'll update you every morning as early as I can. Try to give everybody a heads up, and then I will send a link and alert, tag everybody when I'm going live, let you know that getting ready to watch the markets, try to get some trading in. But I like the morning, obviously better than the afternoon. Power hour can be volatile, maybe a little bit unpredictable. Depends on the structure that you get for the day. After lunch has been okay, but it's hard to tell if you're just going to get like dead volatility, like nothing being traded, or if it's actually going to continue and give you some movement. Yeah, not a whole lot of a pullback just yet, man. 11:24. I'm gonna hang out for a little while longer and see what we get. 12 to 1. It's called New York lunch. Traditionally, volume dies down. Again, not every day. Sometimes the market runs. Pushes higher, pushes lower. You get movement. But I typically like to just wrap it up around that time frame. Do I prefer ES over NQ? I do. I like ES over NQ. I get that question a lot. Everybody always wants to know the instrument, the preferred instrument. Briefly, I traded NQ and Dow in the CFD market before coming over to futures. Came over to futures, NASDAQ, really volatile, really whippy, big price movements. It's great if you like to scalp, if you just can capitalize on that. Trade minis, it can be pretty aggressive in a 50K. You can trade micros on TopstepX, so that's not so much of an excuse, but initially that was my reason for swapping over to ES, a little bit slower. And once I got on ES, I really liked it. I found a pretty good groove on ES. I find it respects my levels very, very well. I find it to be somewhat slow moving and manageable on the 1 minute, which is, good. I think it still provides a lot of the similar structure and movement throughout the day, the volatility that you need to, for anything to happen, right? You need the market to move one way or the other to make money or lose money. It's just a little bit more controllable for me. I also find, again, this is subjective, hard for me to quantify in any type of way. I find it pulls much less BS wiki types of moves. At NASDAQ, trading days on that, there are so many movements where it just comes, structure should be clean and continue, and all of a sudden it just wicks quickly in one direction, takes everybody out, and then continues doing whatever it was doing. Reverses, gives you really, really tough price action to trade. Again, for scalping, for a lot of guys, that's preferred. It works really well. You can capitalize, trade minis on that, make some money pretty quick. You could also lose money pretty quick. So ES has been sweet. No problems with fills or anything like that. Tons of volume traded. Never any issue there. As far as the chart goes, the market structure, it tracks very, very similarly most days to NQ. Dow is always kind of in its own world. I think today there was some difference with what's going on with tech stocks. You get a little bit of a different structure, different stuff going on. But yeah, I like ES. Again, preference, man. I just think, if you're a beginner and you're planning on trading minis, unless you're really into scalping, and I'll just give you my preference. I don't think you should be on NQ. I think you'd probably do better on ES. Just preference. It's slower. It'll give you more time to think. It won't move as much as quickly. and you'd probably just be able to handle it a little bit better. You know, NQ is a monster. That's my thoughts there. Dow's pretty aggressive also. There's some movements on Dow also. And again, I had more experience coming from CFDs trading NAS 100 and US 30 than I did on ES, but made the swap, and I like it. Part of me sticking with it also has just been kind of developing this belief that you want to become a specialist on one thing, right? Narrow your watch list down. For me, I'm pretty much just trading ES right now. I look at some other stuff for overnight swings, which I haven't been taking much of. Just haven't seen the structure that I need to take anything. Checked it again yesterday. But if I watch ES all day, every day, maybe not all day, but at the open, at pre-market, check it in the afternoon, check it throughout the day, I really develop a strong feel for how the market moves, the price action. You watch it, for days and weeks and months at a time. I think you become an expert at it. What time you usually start stream? Oh, yeah, sorry. I read that already. Thank you. I agree. Tough price action. Seems a little cleaner on the 5-minute. Absolutely no reason to trade minis over micros. I agree with that. If you have the same purchasing power on whatever prop firm that you're using, you can trade micros and size up. TopstepX allows you to do that. It's a great way to be able to, size down, control risk, scale in and out of trades. Gives you more flexibility. It's great. NQ the Punisher. Problem for me is ES price action can be gross to me. Yeah, see, I don't find that, man. I find NQ to just be terrible, as compared to ES a lot of days. And same with Dow. So, again, it's just preference. It's just a preference. I think ES, very, very clean. Again, these are like kind of subjective comments here. Trends very tightly, doesn't have these big pullbacks. It took a little bit of an adjustment where it's like, coming from NQ or Dow, maybe I'm waiting for this type of a pullback, so I'm missing trades, or my stop loss is way too wide, my target's way too wide. So, moving between them, like you gotta know what you're trading. So there's definitely a downside. It's not like, oh, come to a different instrument and you're just gonna do so much better. No, you got to become a specialist with that instrument. You really got to understand it. I would agree. Yes, price action is so much more forgiving. Yeah. I mean, it's all about how you trade. You could be. So here we go, pulling down to that level. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just gonna pay attention. I'm watching Bookmap, watching what's happening right down here. Give me a moment. Yeah, pushing through. So not a whole. Yeah, order stayed on the book all the way through, and I'll show you this, guys, in a minute. Yep, pushing through it aggressively. So not looking for a buy just yet, guys. We still might see some reaction down here, but there's not a level on Bookmap that I'm looking at now. The stuff above lightened up, not a whole lot above sitting for a target right now. This looks like back down into the range. We might see a strong reaction down here. Again, right at low of day VWAP and session VWAP and pre-market high, which are all lighting up. This could be a cheap trade, taking it right from this level. Look at how it just tapped it with a really tight stop loss. Just like you can run like a 4-point stop loss. If you're going to see a bounce here, right up to here, you could see that. You could take it now if you wanted to. No recommendation or suggestion to do anything. It's just not for me in this afternoon. Again, you could run something like this. I'm not saying this this works. It just doesn't work out enough times late in the afternoon like this for me to make it work. I like these. I like these over here. Really aggressive plays off of levels early on in the morning. In the afternoon, I prefer with the trend structure. Break and retest style, breakout, whatever you want to call it. For me, it's all discretionary, and I'm going to apply my intuition and decide when to get in, when to get out. But we'll see how that plays right here. Yeah, again, not the setup for me. Here's what I was waiting for, right? You form your idea, you decide the tools you're going to use, what you're going to wait for, the level. I was looking, right around this area, maybe even a little bit further pushed down. This is an aggressive sell down into this area. I'm not looking to catch the falling knife. we start to chop and continue up, or maybe get a reaction. Maybe. But reaction right off of VWAP, right off of pre-market high. Yeah, again, a super aggressive entry would have just been a limit buy on the way down here. Stop loss 4 points. Looking for a quick bounce right up to this area, even if it's going to continue down. Now we're likely to fill this this gap, this imbalance, whatever you want to call this type of price action, to the downside, but not enough for me. Back down below this low, I think this is just going to be one of these BS rangy days. And I'm better sitting on my hands once I start to get that feeling. Two 1-minute candles with long wicks to the upside. We're down below low of day. We're consolidating right at pre-market high. This looks like it could go either way now. The bounce up, I think, becomes less and less likely as we chop around here, right? Like if we're gonna see the bounce, this is the move. Look at that. Like that's how it happens. Long wick to the downside, an immediate reaction to the upside. You jump in aggressively here. This is working out well. You jump in here with a stop loss right below here. You expect a continuation up. If it comes back down, you're out. This chop, not as nice. It's finding support here, right? Like buyers and sellers are at odds. There's some trading being done. There's definitely volume on to the downside as it came down and really broke through orders that were sitting up here. Did they stay on the book and fill? Let's see. Yeah, they did. That's what it looks like. Yeah. So now this looks like lower to me. Maybe we get the pull back up, but this looks like back down into the range. Yeah, this is ugly, guys. This is ugly structure, right? Like we, just starting from the session, we pushed up, pulled down. This looked okay, right? We had a little bit of this, broke the low, and then continued up. Now we're looking bullish. And now what do we got? All the way back down below this low. That's not clear. Still could be bullish, right? We still could continue up. Maybe we come down below these lows and take every last person out that got long anywhere on the way up here. Maybe you took anybody out that was still long with a stop below this area. I try to look at things like that as well. But yeah, this is just not clear enough for me. Again, there's trades to be had in here. You could be taking shorts and longs, really just carving it up, scalping. Not a good way to structure risk when I did have a good indication of which way I wanted to trade, and then not a clear indication of which way I want to trade, good direction, a reason for the trade whenever it presents it a way to structure risk. So that's kind of where I'm at on this. But that's part of it, man. You don't have to be able to trade every minute of every day to make money in the markets. I think a lot of guys go wrong there. I did for a long time, and it's hard even sitting here right now. You're dedicating your time. You're in front of the charts. You want to be making money. You got to realize if the market's not giving you what you need, it's displaying your chance to take advantage of your edge. You got no business being in the market. And I think if a lot of guys just sat on their hands a little bit longer and then ruthlessly traded when their setup came and not worried, fearlessly entered, they would do very well. But it's a waiting game a lot of the time. Yeah, nothing on Bookmap. Nothing helping me at all on Bookmap. Nothing above or below. The stuff at 7:15 came off. Most of it came off. There's still some orders sitting up there, but Let me actually confirm this. Yeah, there's still orders sitting up at 715. Sorry, I don't want to give bad information on that. There's just not enough at that level for me to say, hey, this is something that I really think can go and be tagged and picked up as liquidity. Little bit of a reaction, I think, right to these lows, clearing up this whole deal is a potential move. But I don't have it in me to take a long here. Good advice, Zach. Appreciate that, man. We're below the VWAP on NQ. I'm attempting short. Nice, man. Do your thing. Yeah, like, okay, gun to my head. If you said, hey, I'll check NQ in a second. If you said, hey, where is this going? You know, you have to take a long or a short from right here, right now. I would take it short. I don't think we're going to continue to the highs. I think we can come all the way up here and check this out, maybe crack above this high. But I think we're just going to drift back down into this range and mess around first. NQ, I had some markup yesterday or the day before. Get rid of that. Ignore all these price levels. This is all from yesterday or the prior day. Yeah, NQ's got some different price action. NQ sold off hard this morning. Much different price action. Oh, structure, I should say. Much different structure. Sold off hard, has been pulling back up to the VWAP, is now back down below it. Not really clear for me either for NQ. Getting the bounce at the VWAP and pre-market high a little bit. You wouldn't have taken much heat on this buy, but I don't like it. Don't like it. And on that note, guys, I think it's about time I wrap it up. I appreciate you all being here. I'll leave you with this. Hop in the free Discord. If you got questions for me, what happened today, what happened yesterday, how I trade, really anything about trading, I'm happy to help you out for free. Great community of traders, growing every day. We added like 24 people overnight. It's awesome, blowing up very quickly. I'm happy to have more and more people joining. Provides an even better community, better perspective. We got a lot of profitable guys in there already, guys passing combines, taking money out of XFAs. It's awesome to see. But I'd happy to have you in there. I would be happy to have you in there. Share my analysis every morning, alerts on news, live trading, all the stuff that goes into this. Have a great day. Control risk. Keep your trades controlled. Know what you're putting on in the market. Trade safe for the rest of the day. I'll talk to you guys later.